Right.
Oh, you missed that. You missed my flag. Right, do it again. Come on,
Oh, come
England.
on, England.
You never know. We might win. It's possible.
Football's coming home. Oh, that time of the year where people drive around with flags on their cars. It's coming up now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
used to.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, people are more cheerful, aren't they? Whenever there's an international footballing event like that, people drive around, yo, yo,
Especially when England is winning, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that one. Oh yes, yes, please, yes, please. Right. So welcome to Match Day. It's the football referee with myself, Emmy Hikins.
And me, Trevor Gear.
And Femi, Madariola.
Yeah. So we had a prediction last week, didn't we? So somebody thought Italy was gonna win. I hope they're not right. I hope they're wrong. I hope they're totally wrong. I hope it's
Anyway,
the
just a prediction. It's just a prediction anyway.
I hope they're totally wrong. Right. So, has anyone heard about the lineup? I heard Gareth Southgate is announced his his lineup for the Euros.
I've not seen the lineup, but it
No,
must be most of the regulars anyway. Kyle
yeah,
Walker, John Stones,
yeah,
Maino. I hear Maino is there, the young boy from Manchester United.
yeah,
Jadon Sancho not there.
yeah.
Just that's the three I know that's in the team anyway.
Right.
He's chosen his 26, hasn't he? He's had to select, I think, 26 people from the original 33.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's been well publicised. And I think they're all fit now because John Stones was thought to be injured, I think, after the game the other day, wasn't it?
Friendly,
Yes,
yeah.
Iceland.
Yeah, I think they're all fit. And just to pick up on what we said last week, really, that they don't play the team as a team very much beforehand, and I guess there are reasons for that. They've got to try and get minutes to everyone who's in the squad in case they're needed. But I mean, if we go back to the game the other night, I don't know whether you both watched it,
Yeah.
but I thought that was a good example where we lost to Iceland, didn't we? 1-0. It was a good example, I think, of what Femi and I were saying last week, that they looked, there's some very good players out there, but they didn't look as if they knew what their teammates were going to do next, like they do in a club side. And I think this could be our big problem. We've got some very good players. Okay, Jude Bellingham didn't play the other night, and he's a brilliant player, but he's obviously not going to do everything on his own. I just hope they kind of gel together, maybe through the training, because they're a very good side, England. But as I say, I'm not wholly convinced about Gareth Southgate's approach sometimes. I mean, in the first game last week, the Palace player Eberechi Eze, who's brilliant, he had a great first game, and then he only figured right at the end as a substitute the other night, which I thought, well, he was probably on fire with his confidence after that game, Eze, and then he should have been able perhaps to establish himself a bit more so in the next game, because he's obviously very inexperienced as an England player. But there we are. What do I know? Gareth Southgate is clearly well versed in what he's doing with the players.
Yeah.
So I think on paper we could do very well.
Yeah.
If I may come in there, I see this England thing has been a trend. And I don't know the role of the FA in these.
Right.
England tend to change teams at every friendly games.
Yeah.
And it's been like that with nearly all the coaches or all the England managers.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the role of the FA is. Is the FA actually saying this is what you should do? Because if that was me, I'll have a 26-man all year. And all I'll do is take one out, put one. Take one. I'm not going to go 33, 35 or whatever. No. If you excuse me a moment.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
I agree with what Femi is saying there.
Yeah.
I think one aspect, though, and I'll say it again when he comes back, is one aspect is that he's got 26 players. Okay, there's going to be 11 who start the games, certainly the first 3 games in the group stage. And I guess he needs to try and keep those who are not the first choices interested. He's got to do that. So I understand why in the build-up they do play different players, almost a different team half the time. I don't think that helps the possibility of eventually winning the trophy.
Yeah.
But I can see the point that you can't just let people get bored and say, well, what's the point of me being here? He's not going to pick me anyway. Yeah. So I think we don't always see that side of it. But I think they need to basically stick with the same team.
Yeah. Just before I invite Femi to continue what he's saying, I was just thinking, of course, players would get in and out of shape or out of form, wouldn't they? It might be playing well last season, and then this season, due to a recovering injury, might not be the best form. Yeah, sorry, Femi, you can continue now.
Yeah, so from what I was saying, I don't know the role of the FA in, to the extent at which they control the managers or tell them what they have to do or what they want them to do, because obviously it's the FA that pays them. But it's changing of players. You play 3 friendlies and it's a different players. Yeah. How do these players form? As a coach, if I was a coach, and I've got a system that I play, I must know this crop of players. At least give me the first few months. Yeah. I must know the pattern I want to play. I must know the players that can fit into my pattern. If I've got, like, say, 2 or 3 patterns that I want to play, I must know, okay, this guy fits into this fits into this fits into this. And if I have 26 crop of players, those are the players I will continue to use. And if I see somebody's lagging behind or there's an injury, I bring in one more. That's how I know a team plays and function, but not 34 and at different games you start. Why is the training session for? The training session are for you to know, all right, this guy can play this pattern. This guy can play this. Now, when you are playing friendlies, a pattern you want to play is a pattern you play on that field of play. Yeah. And if you have to change system, you might take 1 or 2 out and bring in 1 or 2 in to change your pattern of play or change the tactics or change whatever. Yeah. Or playing different friendlies with a nucleus of the team, a different team every time. There's no way you can play well as a team, because these guys are just playing with different players. There's no way they can continuity and form a strong team like that. Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is consistency, isn't it? Consistency,
yeah. There's got to be consistency, yeah. Now, just thinking about the last friendlies. Did everyone see that? The last friendlies?
I saw the Iceland one.
Yeah. What went wrong? And how does that impact going forward with the morale of the players? What do you think went wrong? I'll start with Femi.
Yeah, what Trevor said about what we discussed last week is the same thing about continuity, consistency.
Right.
Most of the guys that played for England against Iceland, individually, they are brilliant players.
Right.
But collectively, as a team, zero. I was reading something about the Iceland team. They say the chances of me, if I live in Iceland, of making the Iceland football team was 2,000 to 1. So they don't have anybody there. They don't have men there. The total population of Iceland is about 320,000.
Wow.
And yet they played like that. Most of those guys have got their own personal profession.
Yeah.
But they still play. They probably playing week in, week out. But with the football FA in this country, you have to play in your team during the week. You hardly had time for the for the national team. It's only when they're on break like this that you go for the national team, or when they're likely to play a friendly match. It shouldn't be like that. I think for England to function well, they must set aside 1 or 2 days every week for the England national team to practice and train together. One day, at least 1 day. I know it's a bit difficult. The clubs might say, oh, well, they don't pay their salary or whatever. We need them to play. But for the sake of the national team, they must do that. That's the way it used to be back in the days.
Right.
Back in the days. They played together at least once a week. Imagine them playing together once a week for the past 8 months. They'll have a very strong team collectively.
Right.
But it's not always like that. They only come together when there's a major competition or when there's a qualifying for a particular tournament or whatever. It's not good enough.
Right. Okay. So I might have a I might have a really crazy solution to this. Now hear me out, guys. Now, granted, you've never ever heard this anywhere else. This is the first time you're gonna hear about this. So I'm proposing that England has a national team called national team, right? And it's just comprising of players made up to play in a national team. So they won't be playing for any clubs, not playing any other football apart from national teams. And in order to sponsor it, I think we should have it included in the league match, for instance. So how many players do we have on the league table, Premier League? 30? Is it 30 teams? 20 teams?
20 teams.
No.
20 teams, right?
20 teams, yeah.
20. Yeah, so we'll have 21 teams. And the 21st team would be England International, right? So they'd go around the table and play against all the big teams, just like the normal football teams would. And don't you think that would make them stronger? Now, this might be a shot in the dark, but I'm
to be honest,
I'm willing to put it forward. Yeah.
To be honest,
yeah.
I drive around on Saturdays. When my kids play football, I drive around.
Right.
There are loads of places where you get talented players that you get a good quality as the quality of guys playing in the Premiership. Playing in the Premiership, playing in the Championship or League One or whatever. Sometimes it's if you're lucky enough, you get in those teams. But there are 1,000,001 players out there that are good enough for the Premiership.
Right,
good enough. So if someone can go around and pick qualities here and there, and make it a team like you've just said, and put it in the national in the Premiership to play as official England team.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow. It's not such a crazy idea after all. Go on then, Trevor.
It's not such a crazy idea.
One more vote. One more vote. If I get Trevor's vote.
Well,